The first thing I saw that Friday morning wasn't sunshine or birds or my perfectly trimmed lawn. It was the black antenna of Melissa Pierce's SUV sticking out of a mountain of mulch like a little flag of defeat, 3 tons of it, sitting right on the patch of grass she'd been chewing up for 2 straight weeks. And when she rounded the corner in her neon workout set and realized her precious President car was basically buried alive, she screamed so loud half the neighborhood's Ring cameras probably auto-saved the clip. Before you decide I'm some kind of psycho, you need to understand what it feels like to wake up every day and watch someone treat your home like a parking lot, then tell you to smile about it. My name's Mike Carter. I'm 41. I run a small landscaping business, and I'm the kind of guy who notices everything about a yard, soil drainage tire ruts, the way grass starts to yellow when it gets compacted. So when I bought my place in Desert Willow Estates outside Chandler, Arizona, I didn't just want a house. I wanted a little peace. And for a while I had it. Then the Homeowners Association got a new president. Melissa Pierce showed up like a walking press release. Blonde hair, perfectly curled sunglasses that never came off. And this blazer she wore even when it was 90 degrees out, like she was always headed to court or a photo shoot. She talked in bullet points. She smiled without warmth, and she had this weird habit of standing too close when she wanted to intimidate you. The first time it happened, I heard the low rumble of an engine around 6:30 a.m. I pulled back my curtain, still half asleep, and watched her SUV roll right up over the curb and onto my front lawn like it belonged there. Not the street, not the driveway. My lawn. I stood on my porch in socks and a t-shirt staring at the black tires sinking into my grass, and I honestly thought maybe she's confused, maybe she's turning around, maybe she doesn't realize. Then she killed the engine, hopped out with her coffee, locked it, and power walked away like this was her morning routine. When she came back, I tried the polite approach. I walked over, waved, kept my voice calm. "Hey, Melissa, right? That's my lawn. Can you not park there?" She didn't even blink. She tilted her head and said, "That area is part of the HOA access easement. You should really educate yourself before making accusations." I actually laughed a little because it was so ridiculous. "No, it's not. I have my survey. That's private property." Melissa's smile sharpened. "The Homeowners Association has rights, and as president I enforce them." That night I pulled out my closing folder. The survey, the plat map, everything. I traced the boundary lines with my finger like I was studying for an exam. My driveway, my lot, my curb, all mine. The next morning, 6:30, the SUV was back. Same spot, same slow crawl up over the curb, same disrespect. By day 3, there was a visible rut. By day 5, my grass started browning. By day 7, it looked like someone had dragged a boat through my yard. I put up a small sign, private property, no parking. I added 2 little reflective stakes. Nothing aggressive, just clear. Melissa drove right over the edge of the grass anyway and parked like the sign didn't exist. I knocked on her door again that evening. She opened it 2 inches like I was a solicitor. "Melissa, this has to stop." She sighed, dramatic, bored. "Mike, your constant complaints are bordering on harassment. If you continue interfering with HOA operations, I'll have no choice but to issue fines for asking her not to trespass on my yard." That's when I realized she wasn't confused. She wasn't mistaken. She was testing me. So I started documenting everything. I saved footage from my security camera. I snapped photos of the tire tracks every morning. I measured the depth with a little ruler from my tool bag because that's just how my brain works. Proof, proof, proof. Then I sent a certified letter. Trespassing notice. Demand to cease. Photos attached. Survey attached. Calm language, professional tone. Even though my jaw was clenched so hard I felt it in my temples. A couple days later I got her response, also a letter, also formal, like she'd copied it from an online template. She claimed the Homeowners Association had right of access. She implied my driveway violated community standards. She threatened escalating penalties if I obstructed association business. I sat at my kitchen table reading it 3 times, and that's when the doubt started creeping in. Because here's the thing, Melissa said, everything with such confidence, such smug certainty. And I'm not a lawyer. I'm a guy with a lawn and a mortgage and a business I can't afford to tank. Around 2 a.m. I found myself staring at my survey again under the harsh light above the stove, asking questions I hated. What if I'm missing something? What if there's an easement I didn't understand? What if I fight this and I lose? What if she drags me into court and I spend thousands just to hear a judge say, "Sorry, Mr. Carter, the HOA wins"? For the first time, I caught myself thinking, maybe I should just let it go. Maybe I should just resod the lawn, eat the cost, keep my head down and move on. And the second I thought that, I felt sick, because it wasn't really about grass anymore. It was about waking up in my own home and feeling small. The next day I was outside inspecting the new damage, and my neighbor Linda Brooks walked over. Linda's in her 60s, sharp as a tack, the kind of woman who keeps a folder for everything and knows where every line is on every map. She leaned close and said, "Mike, you're not crazy. That's your land." I blinked. "You sure?" Linda nodded. "I've been to board meetings. Melissa's bluffing. There is no easement on your lawn." None. Then she did something that flipped a switch in me. She handed me documents. A printed copy of the county plat map, a section of the Homeowners Association bylaws highlighted in yellow, a note scribbled in the margin like she was marking homework. Right there in plain English, access rights applied to common areas and utilities, not private lots, not my lawn. I stared at the pages and felt that helpless, shaky doubt evaporate, replaced by a slow, steady heat. "Okay," I said quietly. "So she's lying." Linda's eyes narrowed. "She's counting on you backing down." That night I didn't sleep. I didn't sit there plotting something illegal. I wasn't thinking about slashing tires or damaging property. I'm not that guy. But I was thinking about one thing: how to make her stop, using the same rules she hid behind. Because she wasn't parking on the street. She wasn't parking on her own driveway. She was parking on my property. And if something is on my property, and I arrange for my own landscaping materials to be delivered, that's not vandalism. That's a delivery. So I made a call. I scheduled a mulch drop, 3 tons, front yard, delivery window 7:00 a.m., and I didn't even have to guess she'd be there. By now, it was a pattern. Melissa parked at 6:30, like clockwork, power walked for an hour, came back acting like she ran the world. The morning of the delivery, I watched from behind my blinds like I was sitting in a stakeout. 6:28. Her SUV appeared at the end of the street. 6:30. It climbed the curb and rolled onto my grass. 6:31. She stepped out, locked it, and walked away without even looking at the yard she was destroying. I stood there in the quiet of my living room, heart thumping, and I actually whispered to myself, "Please, let this work." At 6:55, a big dump truck turned onto my street. The driver stopped in front of my house, climbed down, and stared at the SUV sitting on my lawn like it was a joke. He looked at me. "You sure you want it right here? There's a vehicle." I nodded, calm on the outside, vibrating on the inside. "Right there. That's the drop." The driver shrugged, because a job is a job, and climbed back up. Then the bed tilted, and mulch poured out like a brown wave. It hit the hood first, then the windshield, then the roof, sliding down the sides, filling in around the tires, swallowing the doors. It wasn't a delicate sprinkle. It was a full-on avalanche. By the time the truck bed dropped back into place, Melissa's SUV was gone, replaced by a mound the size of a small elephant. All that was visible was the very top of the antenna and a little sliver of the roof rack. The truck rumbled away. The street went quiet. And I swear the whole neighborhood held its breath. Around 7:45, Melissa came power walking back, earbuds and ponytail bouncing like nothing could touch her. Then she stopped. She looked at the mound. She looked at her empty hands like the keys would magically summon the car. Then she turned in a slow circle and screamed, "Where is my car?" Her voice cracked on the last word, pure panic. She rushed to the mulch pile and started clawing at it with her fingers, yanking handfuls out like a feral raccoon, screaming, "Who did this? This is destruction of property." Doors opened up and down the street. People stepped onto porches. Phones came out. You could feel the electricity in the air, like everyone knew they were witnessing the end of a reign. I walked out onto my porch and kept my voice level. "Good morning, Melissa." She whipped around so fast I thought she might actually fall. You did this." I lifted my hands a little. "I ordered mulch, delivered to my property." "That's my vehicle," she shrieked. "You buried my SUV." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't smile. I just said, "Your SUV was parked on my lawn." Again. "If you have paperwork that says you can park there, show it." Melissa's face went red in waves. "I am the president of the Homeowners Association. You can't." "Show the paperwork," I repeated. She pulled out her phone and started dialing like she was calling the military. "I'm calling the police." "You're done." "Go ahead," I said. "I'll wait." When Officer Ryan Coleman arrived, he took one look at the mulch mound, then at Melissa, then at my calm porch stance, and you could see his brain trying to decide what category this fell into. Melissa launched into a speech trespass vandalism, HOA authority community standards, all of it said fast, like if she talked enough the world would bend. Officer Coleman held up a hand. "Ma'am, do you have documents that grant you the right to park on his private property?" Melissa froze, just for half a second. Then she said, "It's an easement." "Do you have it in writing?" he asked. She stammered. I've seen maps." Officer Coleman turned to me. "Sir, is this your property?" I handed him the survey, the photos, the certified letter copies, Linda's plat map, the bylaw excerpt. His eyebrows lifted as he scanned it. Then he looked at Melissa and his voice got firm. "Ma'am, based on what I'm seeing, you've been trespassing. He's allowed to have materials delivered to his property. If you need your vehicle out, you'll have to arrange removal." Melissa's mouth opened and closed like a fish. This is outrageous." Officer Coleman didn't budge. "Also, if there's damage to his lawn, that's a civil matter, and these recordings aren't going to help your case." That was the moment. The exact moment her confidence cracked. Because it wasn't about mulch anymore. It wasn't about grass. It was about the fact that, for once, someone in a uniform looked at her title and didn't care. Melissa had to call a crew to dig her SUV out. She had to stand there while neighbors filmed. She had to watch her authority get shoveled away one scoop at a time. And later, when the Homeowners Association board saw the footage, saw the documents, saw the paper trail and the threats and the fines she tried to weaponize, they didn't protect her. They voted her out. No applause, no speech, no redemption arc. Just one final silent walk to her car, finally parked on her own driveway, while the rest of us watched the president shrink back into being just another resident who couldn't bully people anymore. Lesson learned: when someone uses rules as a weapon, the best defense is proof, and the courage to stop backing up.